When you're learning how to solo, learning how to connect to the chords and the changes that are happening becomes really, really important. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this. What I want to do today is just show you a really easy way that you can approach this if you know a little bit about your scales. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's start off with something very straightforward like the A minor and the A minor pentatonic scale. It's okay if you don't know this stuff great or you're not really fast at it or anything, it's perfectly fine. But that's what we'll start with, is just understanding we have a chord and we have a scale that corresponds to that chord. Now, if you know other scales, obviously you can use all kinds of different things, but let's just start nice and easy here. So we have A minor, and then we have the A minor pentatonic. All right, so let me switch camera angles here. So let's say we have something change. Let's say we have a chord come up, something else. So let's say the next chord that comes up in the sequence is this G. All right, so what are we going to do about that? Well, there's a couple things that we could do. If we were in A minor, and let's say we know some of the notes that we're actually playing inside this A minor pentatonic, which the notes we'd be playing would be A, C, D, E, and G. Okay, so over this A minor chord, we might be directing our movement toward the note A, which makes sense. And again, it's okay if you're not fast at this or anything like that, but you get the idea. So over the A minor chord, I'm directing my motion toward A. Now that would mean I need to know where A is. I'd need to know I have an A here, and certainly here. And maybe you know, you could bend this note and get an A. Whatever. So here comes the G chord. So what are we going to do over that G? Well, we have a couple things we could do. We could stay in A minor and simply try and move ourselves toward the note G. Right there. So we could stay in A minor, but move to the G. So we have this A. See, and then I move myself toward the A again. And it works really great to do something like that. But there are some other options depending on how comfortable you are with what you're learning on the guitar. One thing that we could do is over this A minor, again, play an A minor like we just did, A minor pentatonic. But when it goes to the G, we go to G major pentatonic, and we solo in G major. Now, I could play that here, and that's perfectly fine, and I could solo in there. But what I want to show you is I'm going to move to the next position right here. Okay, instead of playing here, I'm going to move up and play in what I'll call the second position of G major pentatonic. So instead of playing it here, I'm going to play over this position. Why? Because I'm putting the two positions in the same spot on the guitar. That way I have A minor pentatonic here and G major pentatonic sitting right here, which would be 3, 5, 3, 5, excuse me, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, 7, 5, 8, and then 5, 7. And of course my G would be right there. So I still want to know where my G's are. I'd have a G down here, which is a bit out of the position, but it's there. Okay, then I'd have G there and G there. Okay, so what happens is because I'm playing a different scale, the notes are a little different. So I have A minor, G, and especially this note, right? Because when we were playing A minor pentatonic, I was playing this note, which is C. And it's okay if you don't know that, but that's what that is. And when I was playing G major, I was getting this note, which is B. So for me, that becomes a really important note because the ear hears that and goes, and it responds to it. So if I'm playing A minor, and then here comes G, it sounds really nice. Okay? And we could keep going with this idea. Let's say we went to an F. Okay? So now we had this position. The first position, then our second position would have been sitting right here. But now, we want to be up here, so now I'm going to move to what I would refer to as the third position of major pentatonic. And again, it's okay if you don't know this. So I'd be playing 5-8, 5-8, 5-7, 5-7, 6-8, and then 5-8. And you can see why it's important to know these pentatonic positions. But I could put that over the top of that. So over this A minor, G, okay? Now, if that seems way too much for you, take a step back to the first thing we talked about, where you could just stay in A minor pentatonic the entire time, but change the note that you're emphasizing. So when that G comes up, well, when A minor is being played, we go to A. When the G major comes up, we go to G. But here's the discrepancy. When F comes up, there's no F in this A minor pentatonic, so we'd have to add it in, and that's okay. We could just add that F in over that particular chord. Where this doesn't really work is when all of the chords that you're trying to play over are not part of the same key. All right? We call it non-diatonic. So what I mean by that is, let's say you were playing something where you're playing A minor, and then it goes to G minor instead of G major. Sometimes when the chords start stepping outside a little bit, or even weirder, we go from A minor to A flat minor. You see, you can't just stay in that position anymore and hope it all works out. You'd actually have to move a little bit, like we were talking about, where I would follow that chord around, okay? You don't have to follow the positions or anything. It just depends on what's comfortable for you, but it's something to think about. So what's most important here in this lesson is grab something of any of those ideas that makes the most sense to you and just explore them a little bit. You don't need 15 different chords. You might just use 2 chords, just A minor and G major, and just move back and forth between those and figure out what works best for you in what you can visualize, what you understand, and then also what is the next thing for you to work toward. All right, so take care, stay positive. Do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to this. It always helps me out. And if you're looking for any guitar lesson materials, always head over to GuitarZoom.com and check out our all-access membership, where you can get all of my guitar courses, my VIP lessons, all of sorts of things, have live sessions with me, all kinds of different stuff like that. So take care, stay positive.